So hello and welcome today for another F5 race today in Vietnam, and I am joined by Thomas MacGyver this time. How you doing?
I'm good, fine. Just glad to hear. So yeah, hopefully we're gonna be in for a nice fun race today.
I hope so too. That would be fun indeed. Some rain would definitely not be bad. Where's my sound? There it is. It's already dark in Kuali. Maybe we can have some rain, but we'll see. As Jose Mandeville then will be the first one to set a lap. Tyler Thomas already saying wet race in the YouTube chat. Well, we hope so too. As Matt Romano has retired already, I would call it his trademark by now, since he does it every race. As Jose Mandeville then starts his lap now, and he will be the first one to set a lap. What is he going to do on the soft tires? Going through the first set of corners and onto the first straight, opens up the DRS. As he obviously sets the purple first sector, since he's the first one to set a time lap, and he completely fucked up his run through there. Does he have damage? It looks like he is missing his left end plate. Yes, he is, so chances are he will go into the pits, so let's then go on board with the AlphaTauri that's about to set his lap. It is Michael Marlowe, who has not picked up any damage yet, so he will be the first one to set a lap then. As he invalidated his lap going into the third sector, then let's jump on board with Tom Jewell, setting a lap. There he is, not invalidated yet, going through the last couple of turns. As he sets a... Oh no, he's on his out lap. Okay, yeah, I'm stupid. Who is the first one? As we have Reese March setting the first lap, a 1:35.5. Next one over the line will be TTG Storm, who just started his lap. There's a Renault coming, that's Jared Fosbury, who's starting his timed lap. As we have a McLaren who's just started his lap. Both Ferraris out on track, so they will be setting a time, if I can see which of the two it is, or one of them. Tyler Thomas about to set his lap on the softs, coming through the final corner, hits the wall and sets a 1:35.8. Where's Thomas? Yeah, good question, Thomas, where you at? He's in the party, so... Billy setting a 1:35.9, Enzo setting a 1:36.9. Thomas, are you here? I'm like, hello? Tom Jewell improves on his lap of 134.6. Thomas, are you muted? As we have the AlphaTauri of Storm coming over the line with a 134.8, Jared a 135 flat, Reese March 135.5, Tyler Thomas a 135.8, Craig Woolley on the mediums a 140.7. As we see a Mercedes, that will be the Mercedes of Joseph Vanderville on his out lap. Do we have anyone else? Yes, Ross Denholm will be the next one to come over the line to set a lap time. Just making sure that Thomas MacGyver can talk, because apparently he's not talking right now, or the stream can't hear him, as we just caught Ross Denholm completely hitting the wall as he set a 136 flat. Do we have anyone else? We have the Renault, that must be, I think, Tim Bruce-Dalen starting his lap, as we have the AlphaTauri of Storm, who will probably dive into the pits, and yes, he does. Then we have there the Renault of Jared Fosbury, who also dives into the pits. Can't even hear me on stream, or as we have Joseph Mandeville now setting the new fastest lap with a 134.5. Next one over the line will be the AlphaTauri of Michael Marlowe, as he sets a, he doesn't set a time, that is right, Ivan King, who just retired from the race. Got disqualified from qualifying. As we have Luke, who sets a 136.2. Have I missed anyone else? I don't think I have. Next one over the line will be Tim Bruce-Dalens, as he sets a 134.8. The Red Bull of Craig Woolley, I think it is, or Tom Spicer, who just started his lap. As we have the Renault of Michael Edwards, who also just started his lap. The Haas of Jeremy Pope, who's going on his lap. As we will then see Joseph Mandeville probably diving into the pits. Then the Haas of Jeremy Pope will be the next one over the line, as he is a bit loosey in the third sector, if you ask me. And he goes and completely slows down to let a Ferrari pass. I don't know which one it is. Tyler Thomas, yes it is Tyler Thomas Ferrari going over the line now, as we are seeing who will be next to set a lap. Tom Spicer will be setting a lap. He hasn't set a lap yet, the others have. Ross Denholm 136 flat. Tyler Thomas set a 135.8. As we have Tom Spicer did not set, oh he did 135.5. As we have Jared and Tim, then two tenths between them. Next one over the line as Michael Edwards went for a 1:35.7. The Haas of Jeremy Pope almost done with his timed lap. Tom Jewell another lap. As NSR Storm gets NSR Storm, I think that's Joachim, I think, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'm very sorry if I'm not. Gets disqualified. And that is Jeremy Pope completely locking up and shooting wide. Let's see if Thomas MacGyver, he's still there. Thomas, maybe try and rejoin the party, but I think you said you can't hear me either, so I can't hear you. As Jeremy Pope will be setting a 1:45.8. Who else do we have? Both Red Bulls going into the pits. We have, is that a Ferrari? No, it's not. It's a Alfa Romeo of Enzo going over the line. He will set a 1:36 flat as he improves on his time. We have then the Renault of Jared Fosbury coming over the line. He sets a 1:34.7, also improving on his previous time. Is that Joseph Mandeville? Yes, he will start a timed lap right now as we have a... That is DTG Storm, who I think just lost a piece of front wing. Yes, he is missing a left end plate. I just saw that flying. Tyler Thomas as Mac Marlowe will be now starting a lap. Who else is coming over the line? As Tyler Thomas will be the next one over the line. Nope, he dives into the pits. Enzo is leaving people by, I think. As we have Jeremy Pope probably diving into the pits. So we have a racing point. That's Reese March on his out lap. Another Haas there. Who's the other Haas? He's retired, so that must be, yes it is, Jeremy Pope. Is Thomas MacGyver, he is back, only not yet in. As Jeremy Pope just got disqualified too or retired manually, I did not see. Sorry, as there is Thomas MacGyver again. Hello. Can you hear me and can we hear you now? That's the question. I don't know, Thomas. I was able to hear you at the start of the stream, but now I can't hear you anymore. As there he goes again. As Reese March sets the fastest, a purple second sector. Let's go on board with him through the final sector and all these turns, going past the last few turns right now, as he will now go full throttle into 5th gear, taking his turn, gets back into 4th gear and opens up the DRS, goes 4th fastest with a 1:34.8. As we have a Williams who just came over the line. That's Billy, who is doing a 1:35.9 right now. Jose Mandeville still in the lead on a 1:33.6, as he will be either diving into the pits, and yes he will. Reese March, who just set a lap, as Billy is on a lap. Greg Woolley is on a lap on the softs right now. Do we have a Ferrari? No, Ferrari's both on their out laps. Let's go on board with Whitelow Billy, then Billy Mossam, who just went into the second sector as Thomas McGrath has joined the party again. Can we hear you now? That's the big question. If you're saying anything... oh, did I just hear you? Hello?
Hello?
Hello, finally, you're back. I don't know if the stream can hear you, but
back.
I can. Well, good to be back.
It's good, well that's a start.
Well, that's a start.
Yeah. Who's on a lap?
If anyone who's
Reese
watching the stream
March.
could let us know if you can hear Thomas, that would be very nice. As we have Billy Mossam now going through the final corner to set a lap, as he sets a... he does improve on a 1:35.6 he sets now. Reese March just retired. And Jewel on a lap. Billy retired, as we only have actually half a minute left in this lobby, which I did not notice. Time flies by. Renault on an out lap. Who else is coming over the line? I think that is Tim Bruce-Davies. Nope. That's Jared who's starting his lap, as we have Renault coming over the line. As everyone is starting new laps. There's a Red Bull coming up to the line. It is the Red Bull of Tom Spicer, but he will be going into the pits.
Yeah, I may have him in the third sector, rounding off his lap.
Yeah. Wait. There he is, Tim Bruce-Dalens. Coming through the final course out of ERS. As he goes third fastest with a 1:34.6. Behind Tom Jewell, 1:34 flat. Goes good enough for second fastest. Jose Mandeville into the pits with 1:33.6. He must be confident that he's going to keep that pole position. As we have Tyler Thomas with a 1:35.6 finishing his qualifying. Tom Spicer with a 1:35.5 finishing his quali. Enzo coming into the pits with a 1:36 flat, as we have Greg Woolley pitting with a 1:37 flat. Luke finishing this qualifying with a 1:36.1. Ross Denham goes 7th fastest with a 1:35 flat. As who else will be coming over the line? It will be Michael Edwards, and he does a 1:35.5 as Jared now went third fastest with a 1:34.3. Storm finishing his qualifying with a 1:34.7. Who are we waiting for then? The two guys into the pits apparently, if they would be kind enough to either retire so we can move on to the race.
Yeah, I have a glitch where no one's gamer tag's actually coming up, so it's going to be quite interesting.
It probably will be very interesting. So, like, as in every name tag is gone, or only a few?
Yeah, there's a few, and then there's others which are actually the wrong gamer tag. They're different people that aren't even in F5.
Yep.
So,
Codemaster's doing some bullshit.
would you please kindly retire?
Yes. I mean, there's only about 15 seconds left, so not such a big deal.
I definitely think it is going to be a wet race because we're start or qualified on the softs, so
Yeah, but everyone qualifies on the softs, right? We will.
yeah,
Well, we'll know
do
soon
medium
enough.
the soft run this turn.
True. We'll know soon enough if it's raining or not. We'll see. As we have Jose Mandeville in on pole, followed by Tom Jewell, Jared Fosbury, Timbers Dalins, Storm in P5, Reese March, P6, 7th for Ross Denholm, Michael Marlowe, 9th for Tom Spicer, Michael Edwards rounding off the top 10, Billy Mossam in 11th, Tyler Thomas 12th, Enzo in 13th, Luke Baker 14th, 15th for Craig Woolley, Jeremy Pope will be in 16th, and Matt Romano 17th, Joachim will be 18th, and P19 rounding off the grid will be Ivan King. Okay, Tim, thanks for letting me know that. Another glitch in the game. Or Tim, what am I saying? I mean Tyler Thomas. I'm sorry. It will be raining. This is gonna be interesting and loads of fun for us. I can't wait. And Jared already said last week that he would see himself into the barrier on this track. So now that it's raining, the probability of that happening will be even higher. So I cannot wait.
Oh dear. There's going to be so many safety cars, I'm guessing, in this race. 3 or 4, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I'm just spectating. I'm just having fun. How many safety cars there are? I mean, I'll just go with the flow.
Yeah.
Many DNFs coming. Yes, Tyler Thomas, you will probably be right. The DNF I am most looking forward to will be Jared Fosbury, since for what I know, he is the person who bottles his races, and I still haven't seen a bottle from him the last 2 weeks. I'm still waiting for that. Maybe this week will be the moment, as Jose Mandeville is controlling the pace on this formation lap. Everyone warming up the tires, making sure. Also, hope you don't spin, because you don't want to get wear on your tires already, or get them to high temperature.
And yeah, everyone's starting on the wet tire, so it's not going to dry up anytime
Jared
soon.
Fosbury, I think it was Jared. Was it Jared? Yes, it was. That's Jared Fosbury who just spun.
He bottled already.
Just yeah, he bottled in the formation lap indeed, as he is now doing his formation lap in reverse. As Enzo Dutoit is actually stopped and everyone's hitting each other. Well done.
Oh there.
Well done. It's only the formation lap, so I mean you are allowed to overtake. So you are allowed to overtake. You will not get penalized for overtaking on the formation lap. So why he stopped there, I do not see it. But then we will be waiting for Jared Fosbury to line up on the grid before we can go. I mean, I shouldn't be laughing with him though. I spun in the formation lap too, like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I always like to have we spin in the formation lap. It's just tradition, really.
Yeah. Just like it's tradition for Matt Romano to retire every qualifying.
Yeah. He never seemed to qualify last either of it.
Yeah, true. He always retires, but he never ends up being last. But I know his strategy. He told me once, and he just he literally goes slow off the line, lets everyone pass, and then tries to stay out of carnage, tries to stay away from carnage. And then yeah, Yeah, Greg Willie, we saw that too. The Alfa Romeo, he stopped on track because Jared was driving backwards on track. We don't know why, because the formation lap will not penalize you if you overtake, as Jared is now lining up on the grid. There he is, he has lined up on the grid. Am I having a... Yes, we are having a good view, as we will go on board for... As we there have the predicted pit stop strategy for either a 1-stop or 2-stop, and we are on the way as the timing screen is doing its traditional thing again. As Jose Mandeville stays in front, we have some things. That's Tom Jewell running wide, as we have the two Renaults. As Tim and Jared, oh no, they're not that far down, as actually Jared is losing a lot of places. Blue flags being thrown at everyone. This race is as we have Team
Kling start at the back as well.
Yeah,
which is good.
I'm still waiting for the timing screen to come back to what it should be, as at the back, as you can see, Matt Romano staying far behind at the back, trying to stay out of all that first lap carnage, which for what I've seen there hasn't been any yet. As Luke Baker actually has damage, he's missing a left front end plate. Then the timing screen is good again, as Tim Brusdalins going down the inside of Tom Jewell. Will he be able to make the move? And yes, he does, and he got past. That is promotes Tim Brusdalins up into P2, but Tom Jewell is not giving up yet. He's going back down the inside of Tim, and he went very wide, and that's his front wing gone, and we have a VSC already. Both end plates missing on Tom Jewell's car. He will be having to pit as he hit the wall coming back on the track, then hits Tim Brusdalins, and that gives him a 5-second time penalty. So VSC is out too. As we have guys in the back, very far back, as Tyler Thomas is missing his whole left front wing. But Romano still cleanly having all of his front wing, staying far enough back. Joseph Manuel setting the fastest lap as we are back on the way. Then that is Luke Baker who dives into pits too. As the timing screen is doing its traditional thing again. And Tim Brusdalins gets spun by TTG Storm while rejoining on track. As we actually have loads of ghosted people. Where is... there he is. Our man in first place. I don't know why the timing screen is saying he's in second, as Tom Jewell now in first it's saying, but he definitely isn't. So as we have Tim Brusdalins and Michael Edwards who are just having a little battle. Tim Brusdalins coming out on top. He will now be looking to catch up to Ivan King in his Mercedes, as he is 2 seconds back from Billy, as Billy is 7/10 behind Jared Fosbury. And Jose Mandeville in first, already having a gap of over 5 seconds to the person in second, which in this case is Michael Marlowe. Both AlphaTauris in the podium paying positions. Second and third, both AlphaTauris. Michael Marlowe second, Storm in third. As we have Ross Denell then battling with Jared behind him, and also Reese March in front, as the gap between these people is not big at all. As Michael Marlowe is actually pulling away from the rest of them. And then we have a small two-way battle for P3 between Storm and Reese March, and then the two-way battle for P5 between Ross Denholm and Jared Fosbury. If they can catch up, we will see a four-way battle for P3, while Billy Mossam actually trying to catch up to Jared as he runs a bit wide there. And that is Reese March and Storm who are battling battling it out for P3. Michael Edwards on the back of Team Bruce Team Bruce still 3 seconds behind Ivan King, as Storm and Reese March are battling it out again for P3. That gives Jose Mandeville the opportunity to run away with this race. 25 points under his belt. Same for Michael Marlowe, who is also running away with this race as Thomas McGuire leaves the lobby. Storm too far back to make a move. So we have Mano on the back of Tom Jewell within the DRS range, only there is no DRS as there's Thomas McGuire who leaves the party. Yeah, as expected. Let's say his internet is not the best. Greg Woolley behind Enzo Dutois, who trying to go through the third sector in the rain with the dirty air. What will that bring? For now, nothing yet, as we have Michael Edwards still on the back of Tim Bruce Dalins. Billy and Ivan King both on the back of Jared Fosbury. Jared Fosbury dropped down of over a second on Michael Edwards. As we now have Michael Edwards on the back of Tim. As we have then Greg Woolley and Enzo Dutois, who actually went side by side into turn 1. Greg Woolley took front wing damage from that as he missing a left front end plate, and we have the Ferrari of Tyler Thomas spun in the third sector, which brought out another virtual safety car. I think we will not be on time anymore to see what's happened there, because his car will have already despawned by that time. Jose Mandeville trying to gain some time on this VSC. Reese March now in third place, catching up to Michael Marlowe. Something his teammate couldn't do. And his teammate is actually dropped down from Reese March by over 2 seconds already. Reese March having to slow down for the delta of the VSC. That gives Michael Marlowe the chance to run away again. Billy still on the back of Jared. Jared still on the back of Ross Denholm. Ivan King has dropped behind a little bit as Michael Edwards is dropping behind from Team Bruce Dalins. Matt Romano very far behind as usual as the VSC is now gone. Let's go on board with Reese March through the third sector. Behind Michael Marlowe, as this third sector is going really slowly, as we have the Haas of Jeremy Pope, who has crashed out too, or I think he manually retired because his car is still going. He must have manually retired then. As there we can see his car standing on the outside of the track. We then have there's no battle going on here. That's the Red Bull into the pits for a new front wing. Tom Jewell, who also went into the pits. As he does not have any wing damage, or he must have changed it already. As they will now drop down to I'm sorry, as they will now drop down to second to last and third to last, P15 and 16. Jose Mandeville now with a 7.4 second gap already to Michael Marlowe in second. He is really not being tempered by this rain. I think this rain is, everyone else is struggling in the rain, and he is just building the gap, making it bigger and bigger every lap. Reese March over under half a second behind. And Michael Marlowe going into the third sector, as there's nothing happening there, as I think Craig Woolley hit the wall again, or someone did there. Was it Craig Woolley? He's not missing anything. Was it Mano? Nope. Tom Jewell, Tom Spicer then maybe? Nope, everyone is still going. There was a yellow flag there. As Jose Mandeville is then setting fastest lap after fastest lap with a 1:55.1, as he is actually the fastest person on track right now. The closest person to him, I think, is Reese March with a 1:55.2. And as if he keeps that up, he will be able to overtake Michael Marlowe within a few laps from now, at least. He should be able to. He's way faster than Michael, as we have the Williams and Mercedes of Billy and Ivan King fighting for P7. As there's Bruce Daly and Michael Edwards in the background trying to catch up to this pack, as we have actually missed the move, but Reese March has gotten past Michael Marlowe. Very well done. No damage, it seems, from the both of them. Yeah, as we have Michael Marlowe going back down the inside of Reese March, and he made the move even before the braking zone. They are on the exit. Michael Marlowe pulling away. Tom Jewell, Thomas Spicer having a little battle. Tom Jewell gotten past very fast and far ahead to about 7/10 as they are still going through. As now Reese March is on the back of them again. Have any other battles on track? Yes, we do. We have Tom Spicer and Tom Jewell who are battling it out for P14. We have Michael Edwards and Tim Danis who are battling that, as Luke Baker has actually retired. I think he crashed out on the straight, and that brought out another VSC. We haven't gotten any safety cars yet. Jared Fosbury still in this race. He predicted that he will only bottle his race on lap 27. Let's see if he predicted that correctly. As now on this VSC restart, Reese March 3/10 behind Michael Marlowe. Not close enough to make move. Enzo Dutoit in his Alfa Romeo, who has now entered the pits. I am not sure if Thomas MacGyver is coming back, but we'll see. As he is claiming that his internet isn't even good enough for doing comms. Then let's go back to the fight for P2, as Reese March has actually gotten past. I'm sorry for trying to find out if Michael was coming back or not. Apparently I don't think he is, as they're going through the third sector. This time Michael Marlowe behind Reese March. We also have the battle between Ivan King and Billy. Ivan King is really close, very close on the back of Billy Mussum. Will Ivan King be able to make the move? No, he will not, at least not now. He might do it into turn 1, as the ERS difference is so big, as Ivan King on about 60 ERS, Billy Mussum on only 30. Ivan King still not able to get past. Joe Fosbury, who dropped down over second. Ross Denholm, who is trying to catch up to Storm. Storm, who is trying to stay with his teammate, who's already falling back from Reese March. Will Reese March be able to close down that 9-second gap to Jose Mandeville in first? A safety car would really throw a spanner in the works for Jose Mandeville. All the hard work he's done to get that 9-second gap, he will be thrown away within seconds as Tom Jewell, as NSR Storm went wide or had a mishap into turn 1 as Tom Spicer and Tom Jewell both went past. Tom Spicer falling back now over 1.2, so now over a second behind as he's catching again, now under a second. Tom Jewell 24 seconds behind on the on the McLaren of Michael Edwards, who is still on the back of Tim Bruce-Dalins. Tim Bruce-Dalins unable to catch up to Ivan King and Billy Mossam. Will he be able to actually get more points than only 2? As if now there will be 26 points given to Jose Mandeville, as we have another VSC. I don't know what happened. It is the Haas of NSR Storm, who actually crashed on the straight, who lost all of his front wing, isn't crashed out, he's still able to keep driving, as we have Michael Marlowe diving into the pits under this VSC, as that promotes Reese March still up into P2. TTG Storm up into P3, Ross Denholm up into P4, Billy into P6, Ivan King into P7, Tim Bruce-Dalins will get P8, Michael Edwards will get P9, as Michael Marlowe is now coming out of the pits. The VSC has already gone, by the way, and there we go, as he can now pull up right on the back of the battle for P9 between Tim Bruce-Dalins and Michael Edwards, as he only is 1.2 seconds behind. There we go. Michael Edwards really breathing down Tim his neck. Where else can we go? Look, we have Tom Spicer back on 1 second behind Tom Jewell. Ivan King still just over a second behind Billy Mossam. Not close enough yet. Billy Mossam not close enough yet to Jared Fosbury. Jared Fosbury over 3 seconds behind Ross Denholm. Almost 10 seconds is the gap between first and second place. Reese March unable to close that gap, as we have Joachim into the pits. Matt Romano very far behind of Greg Woolley. I have no idea where he will end up. Jose Mandeville ready to win another race. I think, if I'm not wrong, he won 2 weeks ago in Bahrain, and with his teammate in second place, that gave them a massive jump in the Constructors' Championship, which brought them to second place right now. These 26 points he is getting right now are also very useful to get this Constructors' Championship down to the wire, to the last race of the season, as we have Michael Edwards who dived into the pits too. Does he have damage? Yes, he does. He doing a front wing change, as we have Michael Marlowe on the back of Tim Bruce-Dalins. Will he be able to pass Tim, as Tom Jewell actually sets the fastest lap with a 1:54.9. That's at least 2 points for Tom Jewell then, since he's in P10 at the moment. A lot of people pitting. I have no idea what the pit window is. Is that Michael Marlowe missing an end plate? No, it's not. It looked like it from the top-down view. Michael Marlowe on his fresh wets against Tim on his 9-lap old wets. Everyone in the top 8 on these 9-lap old wets. And Matt Romano in P15. These are the only people who haven't pitted yet. As we have 3 retirements already, both Ferraris and 1 Haas, of Tyler Thomas, Jeremy Pope and Luke Baker. let's keep an eye on this battle, and we also have the battle of Ivan King and Billy Mossum, who is also going nowhere. Ivan King still staying behind Billy Mossum. Joseph Mandeville getting his fastest lap back with a 1:54.9. As the Ivan King dives into the pits, yellow flags in sector 1. That is the Haas of NSR Storm, who has lost his front wing again, not all of it this time. He is lapped by Jose Mandeville, who's on his 10-lap-old sweats. Ivan King actually having to do a front wing change, and there you go, that promotes. Tim and Michael Marlowe are having a battle now into turn 1. As they are going through the first couple of turns on the lap. Michael Marlowe still behind. Tom Jewell gets promoted into P9 and gets back down to P10 as Ivan King came out just ahead. Who will pit next? Let's see. That's the big question, as we have Michael Marlowe actually trying to go down the inside of Tim Brzelis. Tim Brzelis is losing the back end a very small bit, as we have NSR Storm, who actually spun again into the hairpin on the end of the very long straight. As we have the battle for there ain't no battle, it's Ross Denholm P4 over Jack Fosbury over 1 second ahead, and same with Whitelow. Billy Mossum also over a second behind Jared. Jared now closing up to under a second, as Craig Woody just over to Matt Romano. Matt Romano not wanting to have too much trouble, as there is Ross Denholm diving into the pits. Same is Billy Mossum. Will Billy Mossum be able to get out in front of Ivan King or not? Will Ivan King's undercut work, as that is Jared Fosbury getting promoted into P4, 6 seconds behind Storm into P3, Storm 5 seconds behind Reese March, 10 seconds behind Joseph Mandeville. That's really not helping them. It's really helping Joseph Mandeville though. He has such a big lead. Only a safety car will be able to crush the lead he has right now. 28 laps. I'm not sure if that is enough to do 0 stops, so I think there will be a 1 stop for everyone. As Billy and Ross Denholm both get out in front of Ivan King, his undercut has not worked, as we still have only a couple people onto these 11-lap-old wets, including Matt Romano, who still hasn't crossed the line yet, as we have from P1 to P4 and P6 all on these wet tires. Michael Marlowe pitting a couple laps ago. Tim Brzelis 2 seconds behind Michael Marlowe. Michael Marlowe 7 seconds behind Jack Fosbury. Billy only 6 seconds behind Tim, as we have Ross Denholm 3 seconds behind Billy. Ivan King 3 seconds behind Ross Denholm. Tom Jewell on the back of Ivan King, as this is the only fight on track right now. Let's see, can he close up? No, he is too far back to make the move. Closes up into the braking zone. Will be able to keep this gap as close as it is. Ivan King pulling away on the exit, and the gap is there again. It's under a second this time. It's about 7 tenths again, as it was before. This is the closest battle we have on track, so let's keep an eye on this, as we have Tim Brzelis, who dives into the pits now. That will promote Billy up into P7, probably Ross Denholm up into P7, I'm sorry, Billy into P6, Ross Denholm into P7. Will give Ivan King and Tom Jewell P8 and P9. As they are doing a wing change, so it will take extra time. Will Tom Spicer be able to get P10 off of Tim? Yes, he will. He does so. Will the McLaren of Michael Edwards be able to overtake Tim? Yes, he will, as Tim just gets off the pit limiter, and he will come out behind, no, in front of Michael Edwards. So then we're back at the battle of the at the start of this race. Michael Edwards against Tim Mercedes. Tim Mercedes outside the points, as we have Enes Storm, who has now retired into the pits. As Matt Romano and Craig Woolley are almost going to get lapped by Jose Mandeville. Reese March now on 11 seconds behind. Let's go back on the battle with Tom Jewell and Ivan King, as he is now very close, 2 tenths behind. Will he try to make a dive down the inside? No, he's trying to make the move around the outside, and he does it. He has made the move. Will Ivan King come back at him into the braking zone? Yes, he's lining up for a dive bomb, and no, he is not close enough. Tom Jewell giving the space, and Tom Jewell has done the move, as we have both P2 and P3 both into the pits, as we have Jared following them into the pits. Michael Marlowe, who pitted a couple laps ago, will be promoted to P2. Which strategy has worked out better? Will Michael Marlowe go to the end on these tires? I think he will. I'm not too sure about it, but I think he will, as the other guys will be going to the end on their sets of tires too. So if there's no safety car or nothing, then Michael Marlowe should be able to hold on to P2 or make that P3, as Reese March actually came out in front of Michael Marlowe. Michael Marlowe will be able to have P3, as he's on these older tires, will be able he has to be able to keep up with Reese March and stay ahead of his teammate Tom Jewell, who just sets the fastest lap again. I don't know which it was. Let's take a look. A 1:54.4. Will Jose Mandeville be able to take his fastest lap back for those 26 points? Tom Jewell doing actually a great job on this track, to be honest. Very well done. As he also was doing a great job on this track in FP Wednesday. Unfortunately, he got kicked out of the lobby. Tim Brusdale is on the back of Tom Spicer. I think out of these two, Tim Brusdale is the faster driver, so let's see if he can make it past on the straight. Ivan King losing out to Tom Jewell. Tom Jewell actually driving a great race, although he might be not as high in the positions as the rest. Jose Mandeville is going into the pits now on this lap 14. Will do another 14 laps on these wets. Will he be able to come out in front of Reese March or not? We will see that soon enough, as Tim Brusdale is still on the back of Reese March. So then let's go take a look at Jose Mandeville. Is he coming out in front? Yes, he is coming out in front, well ahead of the other guys. Reese March in P2 going down the straight now, as Jose Mandeville has lost his lead over 20 seconds, has now come down to about 10 seconds again, so his lead has not been compromised by his pit stop. Yes, it is over 10 seconds. That is a very, very fine drive from Jose Mandeville this whole time, as Tom Spicer is diving into the pits, promotes Tim Brusdale into the points paying positions, only 1 point as of yet. I think this rain is gonna stay with us till the end of the race, since it hasn't gone away yet. Reese March still pulling away from Michael Marlowe on 5-lap old wets. Storm, is he catching up? He's not catching his teammate. Michael Marlowe is on the 5-lap old wets. His teammate is on fresh wets. It doesn't seem that they are catching up. Is that Tom Jewell into the... No, it's not. It is Enzo Dutois, who spun into the first corner and lost a right end plate, caused a small yellow flag zone. Did I see Ivan King having damage? No, I did not. It looked like it. As Tom Jewell will be looking to catch up to Lostello, will he be able to do so? That's the big question. Jared Fosbury on the back of Billy Mossam. Matt Romano into the pits as he now gets lapped by Jose Mandeville. Will probably get lapped by his teammate Reese March too. Reese March setting the fastest lap of the session, 1:54.2, as I think Jose Mandeville will be changing that very quickly since he came out of the pits this lap. A 1:54.2 for Storm, as Ivan King has retired into the pits. He retired into the pits. That is him just giving up. I have no idea why. Maybe he took damage again, as there is Michael Edwards diving into the pits too. Maybe having to change his front wing again. This track is already a hell to drive in the dry, let alone driving this track in the wet. Ho. What a challenge. As that leaves only 14 drivers remaining, as we have Michael Edwards pitting for intermediate tires. I don't think this is the right choice, only I cannot see, I do not have the same view as what they have, but by the looks of what I can see, it's still full wet conditions. But if Michael Edwards thinks it's good for Inters, then it sure is. For him it is. As Mark Romano has not got lapped by his teammate yet, or has he? Oh, no, he has not. Still driving there. P14. Will he be able to score himself some points? That's the question. I don't think he will. As we have yellow flags, that's Ivan King's car going on the side of the road. There, as I said, Jose Mandeville setting a 1:53.5. He takes away the fastest lap. As there's Reese March coming over the line, Michael Marlowe, Storm, Billy coming to the last couple of corners, followed by Jared Fosbury. Also, Tom Jewell dives into the pits. Ross Denell not that far back, about just over a second. Tom Jewell pitting on its 13 lap old wets. Is he doing a front wing change? That's the question. Yes, he is. Speaking about the great race he's been driving, will now probably all get thrown away as he pits for Inters too. Their view must be very different from than the view I can see, because in my eyes it's still raining hard enough for wets. I think the guys into the top 8 will end this race on their wet tires, unless there's a safety car. They might pit for Inters, as we have Ross Denholm going down the inside of Jared Fosbury. What a beautiful move. Will Jared Fosbury be able to get him back on the straight? That will be the question. Is he going to? No, he's losing time. He's losing out to Ross Denholm. There's no DRS because it's raining. As he is now gaining again and gaining, and he keeps on gaining. Will he make a dive? No, he does not. Locks up the tires a bit, stays behind Ross Denholm, trying to look for a new opportunity, maybe later in this race. As this is actually the closest battle we've got on track, so let's keep up with this then. As the top 4 has now all of them lapped Matt Romano. As Craig Woolley is also about to get lapped by Joseph Mandeville. Lap cars will be ghosted, so there won't be any issues for him. As Ross Denholm will be looking to catch up to Billy Mossam. Jared Fosbury's task: stay with Ross Denholm, because he is the one who will be pulling you ahead. And we have Storm 2 seconds behind Michael Marlowe. Billy Mossam picking up a time penalty, who's actually in front of this train. There's a bit, there's small gaps between this train, but you could call it a train. in my eyes. Reese March still in second, 12-second gap to P1. Phenomenal drive from Jose Mandeville. There's really nothing to say about it. As I just saw some piece of front wing flying, it's not Jared's front wing. Is it Ross Denholm's front wing? No. Is it Billy Mossam? No. I swear to God I saw something flying. I can't see the damage, but yeah, it is what it is. If it's saying there's not, as we have the Red Bull of Craig Woolley, who actually, what are you doing? The pits was right there in front of you. Oh, disqualified, okay. That promotes Matt Romano up into P13. That's why he didn't drive into the pits. He's disqualified from the session, as we will keep an eye on this battle. Now, a second behind Billy was Denholm, a second behind him Jared Fosbury, 12 seconds behind Timbers Dalins. This is one hell of a gap everyone's making. We have this three-way battle for P5, then we have, can you call it a three-way battle? I don't know, they're 2 seconds behind. Let's call this just P1 for Jose Mandeville, P2 for Reese March, P3 for Michael Marlowe. You have P4 for Storm. You have P5 for Billy, but this is the three-way battle for P5 between Billy, Ross Denholm and Jared. Jared, who hasn't bottled yet, if he can keep it clean, he will be scoring some points, but I still want him to bottle because I haven't seen it yet. I'm sorry, Jared. Then we have Team Brazil is 12 seconds behind in P8. Tom Jewell about 16 seconds behind that on his intermediate tires in P9. Probably about to lose his position to Tom Spicer, who is still on the wets. As I said, the wets looking like the better tire still. Sir Hamrick getting a bit loosey-goosey, coming through the final set of corners in P12, and then Matt Romano in P13, lapped already, taking it a very casual, not pushing his limits, just trying to stay alive, score some points. If the guys in front have a massive load of time penalties, he might be able to, as he is almost a minute behind on the guy on Enzo Dutois, so I don't think he will be able to score some points this race. So let's then go back to the battle between Billy Mossam, Ross Denholm and Jared Fosbury. Three-way battle for P5. As none of them is able to close up, as we have Tom Spicer and Tom Jewell, who binned it or got pushed by Tom Spicer. I have no idea if he got pushed. Send it to the stewards and we will take a look at it. Tom Spicer, who has now gained the place. Tom Jewell still in P10, so he might still be able to get 1 point. Tom Spicer be able to get 2 points. And we have Tim Brusdalins, who's not looking like he's gonna catch up, as Matt Romano has been lapped by all of the guys ahead. At least all of them. I mean, the three-way battle has lapped him now, as Jared Fosbury is falling a bit behind, almost a second. Ross Denholm still a 3/10 behind. Tom Jewell getting a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. That's not what you want to see. He's gonna get his front wing damage changed, probably changed back to the wet tires, as he must have seen that his intermediate tire strategy is not working out. And there is Michael Edwards, who overtook Tom Jewell. Also on the inters, if Tom Jewell gets, still has 8 laps to catch up to Michael Edwards and get back at him, as he will get overtaken by his teammate Enzo Dutois too on the wet tires. Tom Jewell still on pitted for new inters. I don't think that is the right strategy call, but you do you. I will not criticize that. I don't know. My English ain't the best. As that is Ross Denholm, who just actually hit the wall, losing his right end plate. Ross Dennon will be struggling to go through this third sector now, which will probably promote Jared Fosbury into P6, as then it's Jared Fosbury's time to have a go at Billy Mossum. As we still have 7 laps left to go. As there is Jared Fosbury pulling out, not close enough to make a move. Your English moet beter in wat. Hey, Joachim, rustig hè, rustig hè. Doe mijn best hè. As we still have Ross Dennon, you can see him struggling to take these corners. Jared Fosbury will be all over the back of him, as he does not have the straight line speed to do so. He closes up into the braking zone, but then loses time again on the exit. He will not, as Ross Denholm is actually still able to stay with Billy Mossum. That is very good of him, and also he does have the straight line speed, it seems like. And Jared Fosbury does not have the straight line speed. Does Jared have damage, because he is starting to fall back and keep falling back, as then the Alfa Romeo of Enzo Dutoit went into the pits, gets overtaken by his teammate Tom Jewell. Jared Fosbury does not look like he has damage, but he is losing out to Ross Denholm, who does have damage. Ross Denholm not losing out to Billy Mossum. Will he be able to still get this position of Billy Mossum? I don't think he will, and I don't think Jared will be able to overtake Ross Denholm either. As that is Enzo Dutoit pitting for intermediate tires 2 into the pits. He is coming out of the pits now on fresh set of inters, as he just gets out behind Reese March into P2. Yeah, Joachim, I know. Let's see them all. The gap has now gone up to 3 seconds between Michael Marlowe and Reese March. DTG Storm behind in P4, closed up from 2 seconds to 1.4 right now. Jared now on the back of Ross Denholm. Ross Denholm starting to lose out to Billy Mossum. 9/10 behind, not close enough to make a dive easy if he can close up onto this straight, as he is not doing so, and just stays behind waiting for the prime opportunity to go past. If they are lucky, they would be able to get a safety car, and very unlucky for Jose Mandeville that would be in first place. Actually, I have to say it again, but he's driving a phenomenal race here in Hanoi in the wet. 13 seconds behind. He has led this race from lap 1, and he hasn't lost his lead the whole race long. As he starts another lap, lap 23. 22 laps already done. 22 laps already done, 5 more laps to go, and then we will see who the winner is. This battle right here might be able to see penalties interfering, as Ross Denholm is really struggling to get through this third sector. Jared Fosbury breathing down his neck, as we have Billy Mossum diving into the pits. Will he pit for intermediate tires or not? Let's just keep an eye on these two for a second, as Jared Fosbury must have had a small issue into the last couple of corners, because he is now almost 2 seconds behind Ross Denholm. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Billy is getting a front wing change. That's very unfortunate, because he was able to keep behind, to keep Ross Denholm and Jared Fosbury both behind him. Ross Denholm with the damage, not pitting yet. He's still feeling good with his damage. I mean, the way he's pulling away from Jared Fosbury, if he can still drive with the damage, then keep on going. You're driving a great race with this damage. And defending from Jared Fosbury as we see them going through this roundabout, going wide, using all of the track. Same for Jared Fosbury, not going as wide, but still they use as much of the track as they can. Team Bruce Dailies, who got the gap from 12 seconds down to 8 seconds already. Well, already, as we have Storm now 5/10 behind his teammate Michael Marlowe, who is on the 13-lap-old wets. Storm on the 8-lap-old wets. Will he be able to make the move? Has Michael Marlowe got any damage? I have no idea. We could look at that really quickly. No, there's no damage there. Then we will still see Storm on the back as he is really catching up to his teammate. He might steal his podium paying position. Still P3 and P4 are still a good amount of points. Back 1 second. Tom Jewell getting a 3-second time penalty. That's not the way you want it to go. As if Tom Jewell pitted for wets, he would be able to break that 13-second gap to Michael Edwards and maybe get P10 and snatch away 1 point. But unfortunately that's not the case, as we have Jack Fosbury now breathing down the neck of Ross Denholm again. Only 3 tenths behind going into the braking zone, 5 tenths behind on the exit. Going past these few turns, as Ross Denholm is still ahead. Will we see them doing anything? This battle might come down to the wire, might go down to the last lap. If it does, who of the two is going to win? I have no idea as of now. I would put my money on Ross Denholm, even though he has damage. He's still able to pull away on the exit of every corner and still able to stay ahead. So if it was me, I would put my money on Ross Denholm. As we then go back to the fight between Storm and Michael Marlowe. I'm sorry that I keep calling you Storm, my friend, but your name is not on the spreadsheet, unfortunately, so I do not know what your name is. 7 tenths behind Michael Marlowe. Going through the fast, the third sector. Jared Fosbury back down to 8 tenths. Reese March taking the fastest lap now with 152.9. Will he be able to keep this? That's the question. As Storm is pulling out, not close enough to make a move, staying behind. As we have Jared 2 tenths behind Ross Denholm. Will he be able to overtake? No, he does not. He's gonna wait for the right opportunity to do so. Going on to the start-finish straight. Is Jared Fosbury making the move into turn 1, or is he not? He is about 4 tenths. He's pulling out, and no, he does not make the move, as there you can see Team Bruce Dailies coming around the final corner in the background. Who's driving, actually falling back very far behind, who's driving a pretty good race, pretty solid. Billy Mossam very far behind, unfortunate for his wing damage. Tom Jewell not able to catch up to Michael Edwards. I think if he would be on the wets, he would be able to do so. Matt Romano casually behind, as we have, is that Tom Jewell? It is the Alfa Romeo of Tom Jewell. Has he picked up any damage from that? No, he has not, but he went wide into that corner. As we have Jared now back on a few tenths. Did I see some front wing flying there? I'm not sure. Ross Denholm still no front wing as they're going on the long straight. Jared Fosbury close enough. Will he make the dive? Yes, he is gonna make the, or no, he is not making the dive into the hairpin and stays behind. Was so close, could have possibly made the move, but maybe didn't want to because it's wet and might have shot wide. As he stays behind Ross Denholm for now. He might wait till the last lap to do so, because Ross Denholm can get him back, as Storm is now over a second behind his teammate again. Reese March still that 12-second gap which he cannot close in, but he's not letting Jose Mandeville make that gap any bigger. He's staying about 12 seconds behind, as we have Storm just over 1 second behind his teammate Michael Marlowe. I have no idea who's gonna win this battle between these two. We shall see, we shall see. As then Jared Fosbury 4 tenths behind Ross Denholm. I think he is really waiting to let this go down to the wire, as the 12-second gap from Tim Rusdane is coming out of the pits. Then last time we checked it was 8 seconds, now it's about 5.8, let's say 6 seconds. The longer Ross Denholm and Jared keep fighting, or Ross Denholm holding Jared up, Tim Rusdane will be able to catch, as he gets that corner a bit wrong, but he should be I don't think he will be able to catch them in time. He only has 2 laps left to do so. If he drives a phenomenal final few laps, then he would be able to, as he is just over 6 seconds behind, losing the back end a bit there, but that's not too much to worry about, as we had then have Jared Fosbury 8 tenths, now 4 tenths, 3 tenths behind, 2 tenths. Will he making the dive? No, he will not. 2 tenths behind. He will probably wait till the last lap to do so. As I said, last lap too. Tim Rusdane is then still on 6 seconds behind. These two in front really need to start battling more if Team Steely still wants a chance at getting some more points, a better position. I'm not sure which of the two Renaults is leading the championship. As of now, I know they're 1 and 2 and they're winning the Constructors' Championship, but I do not know which one, I'm sorry. I think it's Tim, but it might be Jared. Jared now 1/10 behind and still not going for the move. I have no idea where he is getting this patience from, but he is staying behind, waiting for the last lap so that Ross Denholm cannot get him back. But really, if it was me and I was 1/10 behind, I would have gone for it. I do not have the patience to do that. GG to Jared in that case, as we have Storm now 5 tenths behind his teammate, which is Michael Marlowe. Sorry to everyone who has not had a lot of screen time this race, but there's a lot going on. Jose Mandeville in first, yeah. I mean, you can give the man screen time for his big ass gap and him being first this whole race, but there's nothing to see here. Just driving his own race, just doing time trial laps. I mean, time trial would be way faster, but he's just all alone, not having to worry about anyone that he's battling, with his 13-second gap, 7 tenths for Storm behind his teammate Michael Marlowe, as that is Jared Fosbury, 7 tenths, now 5 tenths, 4 tenths behind Ross Denholm, I'm sorry. 3 tenths now going into the third sector, as we actually still have Zeiss and Dutois with not the best connection. So we have Ross Denholm going really struggling. Well, he's not struggling that hard through this final sector, but Jared Fosbury is really staying with him, as that is the McLaren of Michael Edwards, who spun into coming on to the long straight. There it is. All of his front wing is gone. He has nothing left. He will be pitting then any second now. He will come out in front of Tom Jewell. He should be, Tom Jewell, be able to get the slipstream from Jose Mandeville, might be pulling him along. Tom Jewell 6 seconds behind Michael Edwards, actually. I was looking at the wrong Alfa Romeo. 6 seconds behind, that will promote him up into P10, as this is actually the last lap of the race, according to the timing screen. So let's then go on board with Jose Mandeville through the third sector and let him finish his race, as he has driven a phenomenal race, as actually no, Tom Jewell will be able to still get by. Does he? 2 tenths behind. 2 tenths? Yes, he does. He takes P10 away from Michael Edwards. He can still lose it on penalties, as Michael Edwards has actually retired from the race, and there is Joseph Mandeville, who has won this race, led this race from lap 1, and now wins this race. GG, well done. 5-second penalty unserved, but Michael Edwards retired from the race, as there is Reese March weaving onto the straight. He drove a phenomenal race too. For the both of them, Michael Marlowe drove a good race, being in the podium paying positions, as he's weaving again. Very, what should I say? Satisfied with his race, as that we have TGG Storm in P4, Ross Denholm, as actually Jared Fosbury was not able to make the move into the final lap, very unfortunate for him, as that will get Ross Denholm weaving. P5 for him, P6 for Jared. Tim will be taking P7, as then we're waiting for Billy Mossam to come over the line, and he will take P8. Tom Spicer will be not the last one over the line. We still have Matt Romano in P12 coming over the line, as that is Tom Spicer getting P9 in this race. Tom Jewell in P10, Enzo Dutoit in P11. That's 1 point for the Alfa Romeos. The fastest lap did go to Reese March, so that's 1 extra point. That brings them up to 19 points in the Constructors and 19 points in the Drivers' Championship for Reese March. As Matt Romano is weaving, very satisfied with his race too, ending up in P12. Out of the 19 drivers we had, 12 drivers remaining, 7 retirements, as we had Michael Marlowe given driver of the day by Codemasters, by the game itself. Jose Mandeville wins this race, has led this race from the first lap to finish. Reese March P2 drove a fantastic race too. He was fast enough. Michael Marlowe P3, TTG Storm P4, Ross Denholm P5, Jack Fosbury P6, P7 for Tim Bruce-Dalins, Billy Mossam for P8, 9th for Tom Spicer, 10th for Tom Jewell, Sir Hamrick in 11th, Enzo Dutoit Matt Romano P12th, and as retired on the last lap P13 for Michael Edwards, Craig Willie P14, P15 for Ivan King, Joachim is in P16, we have Luke Baker P17, P18 for Jeremy Pope, and P19 for Tyler Thomas. 1.4 seconds quicker than Ross Denholm, yeah. But I mean, you can be faster, Jared, but you need to get past too, huh? Hey, can't do both. So let me then invite the podium paying positions, as we will be having to look up the names because I do not have them, as it was. Let's go on the Discord and look at the names, because I do not know the names in my head. As we have JCK 92118. One mutual friend, so I think that must be him. Who else was there? Reese March, of course. There we go. Rice Man. That's Reese March. As we have the first person joining the party already. Last one. Fuck the rain. Why did you have to be rain? I jinxed it. Well, Michael Edwards, I'm sorry, mate. Who's the last one I need to invite? I think Michael Marlowe, right? Did he change his name? There we go, into the barrier. Let's go. Yeah. Yeah. I think. Um, where is Michael Marlowe? There he is. So, guys, we ready to do interviews? Hello, hello. Well, I'm doing good. How you doing? Well, that's good to hear. Let's then start with Jose Mandeville with our race winner. You led the race from start to finish. You drove a phenomenal race in the wet, very fast, building the 13-second gap. No one was able to touch you. Like, well done. Let's tell us about your race. Well, I mean, you did that very well. So you actually drove this wet race with a dry setup. Is that well done then? Yeah, you did get pole in quali, but then being able to, I mean, this track is not easy. At least for me, it's not easy. Driving this in the wet with a dry setup. That, I mean, class, mate. That's class. Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. You must be very happy with that first place, obviously. Are you? What do you think about next week? We will go to Spain. So, are you looking forward to that? Yeah, yeah. Who knows? Who knows? In the drivers' championship, but the constructors too. With you scoring so many points every race, you are hopping up the table all the time. I'll get off the blue screen. We can't hear anyone, boys. Could you guys check if your voice
Yeah.
is on?
Yeah.
Oh, now it's being broadcasted. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's all good. I
Does that mean I have to do the interview again?
guess. No, I can do it quick. Yeah, dry setup during for quali. Just changed my front wing for the race from 4 to 5. Let people behind me get into trouble and just head down racing. That's about it.
Well, yeah. We can't hear them, so can you hear them now, Brandon? I'm sorry. Oh. Well, I didn't have that last week where you couldn't hear them when I was on the other screen, but sure. Let's then, as Jose Mandeville just gave a speed interview of what he just said. Let's then move on to Reese March. You drove a very fast race too, being able to have Jose Mandeville not make the gap any bigger. You had to deal with some traffic at the start, but once you got into that second place, you were set for the rest of the race. So tell us how your race went. And
Honestly, I think it's one of the best IRL races I've ever had. Probably one of the best league races I've ever had. I had to obviously battle the Alphataris for it, and then I got a bit panicked by into the barrier who pitted under virtual safety car on lap 8. Luckily, just came out ahead of him after I pitted on lap 13. But yeah, it was quite intense. I had to steal that fastest lap near the end. I just had to. But yeah, it It was a really good race, and I really enjoyed it. And I reckon the only reason I got P2 was because of the wet. I don't know why, but I'm so good at the wet on this game.
Well, I mean, you must be very happy with that second place, and the fact that you're good in the wet, I mean, really suited you today then. Very lucky for you to have a wet race.
Yeah, it was. I really enjoyed the wet race, and it was quite lucky it was raining, to be fair. So I'm very happy with P2. I never thought I'd get another podium again this season, but well, I guess I just need to keep praying for rain every race.
Well, yeah, me and Thomas McGyver actually prayed for it too. Michael Edwards is not very happy with that. He said we jinxed it, but next week, Spain, you looking forward to that?
Yeah, I'm okay at Spain, but let's just say again, if it rains, I think I should be alright. But dry, I'm sort of mediocre, I would say.
Okay. Well, let's then move on to our third place, Michael Marlowe. You drove a good race too, had to fend off your teammate at the end, having to fight Reese March for P2, having pitted under the VSC, which didn't turn out to be as good because Reese March still came out ahead, but you still got P3, so you must be happy. Just tell us how your race was.
Yeah, I mean, it was interesting. Off the start, went from 8th to like 4th, and then Tim got really unfortunate at one point, going deep into turn 1, rejoining into my side, I think, so that kind of put him out the race. And then under the SC, I think I would have probably got ahead of Reese if it wasn't for the fact that after coming out, I came out right behind 2 other cars. But yeah, I mean, I'm more than happy to take 3rd. Best result in IRL, so yeah.
Well, I mean, congratulations for your 3rd place. So that means this is your first podium, right?
Yep.
Well then, yeah, congrats again. And
GG.
yeah, indeed. And next week we will be going to Spain. How do you think your race will be there?
Probably not the best. I've never done the last sector well in my life, and I keep spinning on the uphill right-hander entering the final sector, so I doubt it'll go that well, but
Yeah.
we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I wish you all the best of luck for next week, and then that was it for today. Everyone, thanks for watching, and join us again next week.